Hi everyone, Chief Meteorologist David Paul. It is Saturday afternoon at 2:22. I want to give you an update on Hurricane Irma. If you give me a second, I'm going to share this to our WTVY page to get a little more exposure to try to inform everyone of what is happening. We also will have our newscast coming up this evening on WTVY, so you can in for the latest on what is happening out there. Still a very dangerous hurricane hugging the coast of Cuba for a while. Give me a second here as I share this. And we're tracking it eventually northward as we go through sometime tonight and towards Florida as we go through tomorrow. So let me share this real quick and then I'll dig in. I have everything set up for you to give you a quick update on what I've been doing. And by the way, on a personal note, kind of behind the scenes, I've been doing a little prep work around my house today. And I'll be first to admit that this is looking more like a moderate impact event for the wiregrass, when initially I thought for the last 2 days it would be a low impact event. So the impacts do look to be a little higher in our area. And I'll explain why and what could happen as we go through time. Still a lot of uncertainty. Imagine that with Hurricane Irma. That's something that we've seen for a while. There's a look, first of all, at the various watches and warnings in effect for the southeast. I'm going to try to stabilize this as well as I can. There's Dothan right there. We have a tropical storm watch in effect until further notice. That goes into the panhandle. So most of our counties under a tropical storm watch. And then as we get to the coast, there's a tropical storm warning and a hurricane watch in this area. Certainly a little worse as you go down to the southeast, Tallahassee and some counties there in Georgia, a hurricane watch in effect. And then down to the south and east of there, a hurricane warning in effect as we go through the day on Sunday. For us, the main impacts will be on Monday. There's a look at the satellite picture today. Looking pretty intense, rolling on through the coast of Cuba, and now making a little bit of a shift offshore. Notice that center now kind of re-emerging over the Atlantic, eventually making that turn northward as we go through tonight, taking aim on the Florida Keys and then likely the western coast there of Florida. There's a look at the latest National Hurricane Center forecast. That area in red is outlined for the hurricane warning. The area in pink there is the hurricane watch area near the coast. And then the area in yellow is the tropical storm warning at this hour. That track will be somewhere through the Keys, perhaps near Key West, and then moving inland somewhere, the way it looks, around the western coast of Florida. That could be around Fort Myers Beach, and then more northward from there, right on through the Tampa area, and then perhaps hugging the coast there, even getting back into the Gulf for a period, right in through this area, and then into Georgia as a weaker system into Monday. The water vapor loop shows that one feature I've been tracking all week, that big upper level low, a little more potent now coming on through Mississippi. That is going to move into the western part of Alabama and then into the panhandle and pretty much stop. Meanwhile, down to the southeast there's a circulation of Irma, very large, but notice the western and northwestern part here is starting to encounter that shear. So instead of spreading out like it is on this side, it's bumping into that wall. That is that wind speed coming from west to east across the northern part of the Gulf of Mexico. And this little piece of energy moving in will act as a bit of a block as we go through Sunday and Monday. And then eventually this will dive south, and then this will kind of pinwheel up and around. So that pinwheel will occur somewhere probably now around the western coast of Florida and then up to Georgia and then back into Alabama. That does mean we will see some pretty good impacts in the wiregrass, including some heavy rainfall and certainly some gusty winds. If you've been outside today, you know it's been pretty windy as is, and that system is well to the south of us around the coast of Cuba. Let me switch over here. There's a look at the projected rainfall totals. This is from the GFS model today. This goes through the week ahead. Most is going to be on Monday, so 2.25 inches there. That's in Dutton areas. Off to the east, a little higher. The model is showing anywhere from 2.5 to 3 inches. Areas north to about 2.5 to 3 inches. Tailing pretty good down to the southwest, down to an inch or less for the southwestern counties of wiregrass. It is a very, very big circulation. There it is again. It's huge. It will encompass the entire state of Florida as it moves northward. Lots of strong winds, storm surge as well. The maximum sustained winds, if I didn't point that out earlier, are at 125 miles per hour, so it's a Category 3. But as it moves northward here through the Florida Straits, it's going to have a chance to strengthen a little bit, maybe back to a Category 4, maybe even a Category 5. At this point, I wouldn't rule anything out with Irma the way it's been acting over the last several days. It's been a tough storm to track the actual track of it and the intensity. It's difficult. All tropical systems are difficult. This one's been pretty difficult. I'm going to show you the latest European model. This is the model that's been showing the westernmost track, and that's the one that pretty much everyone's putting their stock into, including the National Hurricane Center. And then here's a look at the cluster of the models here, which some are showing a landfall more towards Marco Island, inland. I'm probably at this point favoring that more western track there, hugging the coast of Florida. And then that center coming up, likely east of Tallahassee as we go into Monday, and then up towards Albany, and then eventually up towards the northern part of Alabama. So most of the center tracks are east of the Wiregrass, and that's good because the greatest tornado threat is east of where that center tracks. So I'm not worried about tornadoes in the Wiregrass, but certainly some gusty winds a possibility. So let's go to that with this model. Here's a look at, there's Alabama and Georgia and Florida, and there's the center of Irma. That's of this evening. So this is a computer model forecast. This is that European model, which does a really good job with these tropical systems. The one that has been the westernmost track, and the one that I'm going to show you because I think it's probably the closest to reality. So there it is, the center kind of hugging the coast of Cuba. That's through today. And then at some point this evening, we'll see that turn northward, somewhere near Key West. So that's a landfall or an eye placement near Key West tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. From there, it's into the Gulf of Mexico. A pretty good chance that it goes into the Gulf of Mexico, at least the far eastern part of the Gulf there, off the coast of Florida, passing maybe with that eye wall, Marco Island, and then Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach could take a direct hit from that eye wall tomorrow. That is at 10 o'clock Central Time, so 11 o'clock tomorrow evening, somewhere near Sanibel, Captiva Island, North Captiva, northward. From there it goes to Sarasota and up towards Tampa. There's the center, pretty close to Tampa. That is Monday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 a.m. Eastern on Monday. You can see that wind field expanding northward, and the gusty winds, you see that area in yellow across southeast Alabama. That is Monday at 10 o'clock our time. So gusty winds at that point. Then as we go through the day, the strongest winds likely in Georgia, where they could gust over 70 to 80 miles per hour. And then in the Wiregrass, likely at this point, let's see, that's 5 o'clock on Monday. That's probably the worst winds for us. In the different area, I'm thinking 50 to 60 now. Well, probably 30 to 40 sustained, if not 45 sustained, and gusting to 50, 60, even 65, 70 miles per hour cannot be ruled out. So, moderate impacts now from the winds and a few inches of rain on top of that. Let me continue going forward here. That's 5 o'clock again on Monday. I'm going to take it through Monday evening. Come on, computer. And you'll see that center go northward up towards Albany, and then eventually up to the northwest. And notice how the wind field really goes away very quickly by Tuesday morning. That's Tuesday at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to go back there Monday afternoon for the Wiregrass. That's the peak of it at about 5 o'clock. As we go through the evening, the winds diminish, turn more westerly, and then a much weaker system as we go through Monday night. So the greatest impacts, I'm going to back this up. I'm going to focus on the impacts there in the Wiregrass. I'm going to go back to Monday morning at 8 o'clock. So waking up, breezy conditions. As we go through Monday, notice the colors coming towards us, stronger winds. That's during the afternoon hours. That's 1 o'clock on Monday. Gusty winds with that center pretty close to Valdosta, between Thomasville and Valdosta at that point, then up towards Albany, and then weakening. Let me show you with that same view the rainfall. We'll switch over. You can see the winds go away, and this is a look at the projected radar. And I'm going to focus now on our area. I'm going to back it up. Again, this is the European model, which is the model that's farthest west and the model that is doing the best job. So there it is, Sunday at 7 o'clock. It's down there, southwest Florida. The white, heavy rainfall with the eye wall. As it interacts with land, the rain becomes kind of asymmetrical, more focused to the north and northwest of the center. So that area around the Big Bend, heavy rainfall by Monday at 9 o'clock in the morning our time. Notice some of that outer rain now moving into our southeastern counties right in through there. Then as we go through Monday, you'll notice Monday morning the impacts being felt more and more. That's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's 4 o'clock. So notice that heavy rainfall after midday on Monday. It comes into the Wiregrass and then really rains pretty good. And then by 10, 11 o'clock in the evening, it kind of backs off and moves out as it weakens north of us. So sum it up here real quick. Based on the latest, I'm going to punch her on here real quick. based on the latest information, which includes this track that's been hugging the coast of Cuba, it will eventually turn more northward as we watch some of that energy come in from the west. So northward turn, and then that track somewhere close to Key West, up towards, say, Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach, hugging the coast there through Tampa, near the coast, near the Big Bend, and then into Georgia. It may make it into Georgia as a Cat 1 hurricane. Would not surprise me the way it looks now, because of the fact it's going to be hugging the coast more than likely. Impacts here in the Wiregrass really starting to be felt as we go through the day on Monday. I'm going to pinpoint, to give you an idea here, I'm going to pinpoint Dothan, and I'm going to show you the winds. And if you can make this out, the phone focuses a little better for us here. This is during the day on Monday. So those are sustained winds in knots. So sustained at 25, 26 knots. That's about 30 to 40 miles per hour sustained. And if you make out some of the gusts underneath there, I know it's tough to see in pink, but those are gusts, let's see, at, well, that shows 56 knots. So that's 60 to 70 miles per hour. So that's a potential in the Dothan area. Wind gusts will be higher areas east. But 30 to 40 sustained, 50 to 65 in gusts looks to be the way it looks in Dothan. Those impacts will be less as you go to the southwest and will be a little greater as you go to the north and northwest. The winds for our eastern counties, say Early County, southward of Seminole County, the winds may gust over 70 to 80 miles per hour. Given this track, that will be somewhere between Thomasville and Valdosta as we go through Monday. So prepare. I would say, what I've done today is I've gone outside and I've picked up a lot of my loose items in the backyard. I've got some new trees that aren't rooted real well. I got some wood and I supported those and staked them into the ground to give them a little extra support. Most of the winds, the strongest winds as they come through our area, will be from the northwest. So it'll be pushing everything towards the southeast. If you have weak trees in your yard, dead branches, and I have some of those, that's the way they would be falling, from the northwest down to the southeast. So any loose toys outside, any loose garbage cans, patio furniture, umbrellas, make sure you take all that in, secure those loose items. This won't be a devastating storm for the Wiregrass, and it looks like that center will be east of us, and that's where the worst damage will occur, near the center and then east of that track, and certainly in South Florida. If you have any family down there, the west coast of Florida, say some prayers, because they are really going to take a hit from storm surge, wind, and rainfall. So to sum it up here in the Wiregrass, about 1 to 3 inches on average. Some areas may see 3 to 4 inches. Winds in the Dothan area, 30 to 40 sustained on Monday. May gust 50 to 65. Greater winds areas east. The winds not so bad areas west and southwest. But all of us will feel tropical storm force conditions as we go through the day on Monday. So prepare for gusty winds ahead of that. It's gusty outside today. The winds at times gusting over 30 miles per hour. Tomorrow during the day, we may see winds gust over 40 miles per hour with no hurricane close to us. So the impacts are large. It's a very big circulation, and we'll see those impacts into Monday evening, lessening by Monday night, and a whole lot better by Tuesday morning. So stay close to us. We'll have more coverage coming up, of course, on Facebook, on WTVY for our newscasts, and you really want to pay attention on Sunday. We have newscasts at 5 and 10 p.m. on Sunday, and then likely nonstop coverage as much as we need to do on Monday on air, and we'll stream that live on our Facebook page to keep you informed. So if you're evacuating and you're in the Dothan area, you're riding out the storm, you're going to be okay unless you're in a camper. If you're in a camper, make sure you can bat that camper, stake it to the ground, whatever you can do to try to find some stability, because for a period there on Monday with those winds perhaps gusting in open areas where some of the campgrounds are over 60 to 65 miles per hour, that could cause some problems. So we'll keep watching it. Again, nothing is ever set in stone with these hurricanes. We think we have a pretty good feel on it going up the eastern coast, I should say the western coast of Florida. Subject to change, as these systems always are. So I'll keep watching it. That's it for now. Let your friends know that they should pay attention. I know it's a big football weekend with college and the NFL, but let's focus a bit on weather as well. I'll catch you all later.